Get Sweaty with Letty, a wellness program about pain management.
Room for the old snow, baby.
That man's thermometer is broken. Look at how quick it diverted the water, though.
Yeah. We'll get a waterfall in here short. There we go. Good thing we got this rain garden. Welcome to today's episode of Get Sweaty with Letty. I just got my sweat on, clearing some pathways with all this snow that we got. We finally got a healthy dollop of snow, long overdue, and I'm happy to be sitting here with my friend Micheal French, who I've known for the past 5 years now, from hosting the Bladerade Skate Jam that we host every summer, which is an aggressive inline skate jam with some of the best skaters our state has to offer. Yeah, we've just gotten to know each other through that hobby, and you know, I'm excited for you to kind of share your story, because the reason I am excited to sit here with Mike is, you know, we're just two regular guys passionate about what we do, and we're fighting pain to do that. And we're not pros, we're not experts, we're more or less like self-proclaimed experts based on experiences that we've had to endure through ourselves. And maybe many of you don't know, but you know, rollerblading inline started in Minnesota, and it's basically just awesome, like, would you call it almost underground scene in a sense?
Absolutely, it's punk rock. It's considered punk rock now.
Yeah. But yeah, as we get into that, you know, I want to hear first, Mike, with all your skating and everything that you do, what brings you into pain?
Skating. And also not skating.
Yeah.
Sitting down for long periods of time and trying to get up, old age and pain
for sure
mixed together and make some funny noises.
For sure. I mean, how long have you been skating?
So 30 years. 30 years I've been, aggressively skating for 30 years. And I took a little break for about 9 years, and due to a whole bunch of life choices, and then got back into it. And it's been instrumental in getting me back into the best health I've been in. And being at 41, almost 42, skating is offering me something that even the gym can't offer most of these people that go every day, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can totally relate from like me playing hockey.
Absolutely.
There's nothing that skating can compare with inside of a gym, from the cardiovascular aspect to it, and otherwise, and just like the small stabilizer muscles that you need when you're trying to skate. So yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to skate.
It is, and it's a full body workout too. It's like even your neck muscles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's been the number one thing that's helped me stay in shape, but also has put me in a place of pain constantly.
For sure.
It's definitely a pendulum. It goes back and forth from being, you know, the best thing for me. Oh my God, I landed everything. I feel great. To I didn't land one thing, and I'm going to go ice everything, and nobody talk to me or touch me for a year. You know, just leave me alone.
So you said you've been skating for like 30 years. So I mean, that's putting you at around, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, about 11 is when I started doing the aggressive stuff. It was, I think there's pictures and stuff of me and my brother skating on some really old skates, like when they first came out. I don't know, we must have been 7 years old, but I don't really count that, even though we were doing like stairs and jumps and all that kind of stuff. We didn't really know it was a sport. We were just kind of dinking around,
This is probably like right before the X Games came out.
I would say Absolutely.
inline as a component, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say this is before that by about 5 or 7 years. And then when I got really into it, when I turned 11, that's when we started noticing it on TV. It was in the X Games. I saw my neighbors doing it, and they were just a group of, mischievous kids that, I mean, me and my brother were both terrible kids too. I mean, we were always into something, but these kids were like a group of them, and they were skaters, and we were like, ugh, and they're like jocks, they didn't like us. And so we just got into it, and then we saw them skating, and I said, can I try that? And they were like, absolutely. And they let us skate, and then we became best friends, and that never stopped. I'm still really good friends with them, and it changed my life. So
that is awesome. Yeah, that is the cool thing about the inline community is this ultimate family.
Absolutely.
And I was able to experience that just the first year that we had the event during COVID in 2020. So I could totally understand how you want to partake just from the physical aspect of it, but then the camaraderie aspect of it is just a next level thing, and it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to bring everybody together too.
It's entertaining, and the fellowship is, I mean, it's unmatched. Like I've had a group of friends and periods of my life through different sports, different hobbies that I've had. And the ones that I can't shake and make a giant portion of my social network are all rollerbladers. And I can't shake them. I mean, that they've been really solid friends through whatever decisions I was making. And, they've been really instrumental in when I came back and really start trying to do the next right thing all the time. A lot of people welcomed me back with open arms, and it was mostly the people from the skate community that were just happy to see me back, which really felt good. I mean, it's really motivating.
Very cool. So, as you're getting going at 11, sure that naturally there's going to be some falls, bumps, and bruises here and there. Did you have an experience with any injuries?
Oh, yeah.
Early on like that?
Yeah, I had an experience injuring absolutely every part of your body. And that's the craziest part about when you're learning the aggressive skate thing, and the aggressive skate scene was brand new. There was no you didn't have a lot of research to go off of. There wasn't like a manual for how to do it. And it was watching people do it, watching videos of people doing it, and then trial and error. And a lot of us didn't even know what safety pads to use, so we would, and none of them fit. We looked ridiculous, but the funniest part was just trying to have fun, not die. And as a kid, learning how to do that stuff, and then saying, okay, I'm not going to wear my helmet and try it. That was the craziest decisions to make, but it felt so good because it's I'm good at this. I know I can do this. I'm going to trust in my skill. And then when you finally did it and things started happening, and it just gets momentum going, and the next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I'm competing it up all over the United States, which was awesome, At a young age, it was really fun, dude.
Damn, that is cool. Where'd you travel to?
My mom would drive us to Milwaukee for regionals. They would do at something called ASA, and it would be a regional competition qualifier for nationals, and it would be at God, what was that concert called? I want to say it was called Soundfest or something fest in Milwaukee, and it was just a blast. And then Summerfest, there it is.
Good time.
It was under the bridge. It was great. And then we were doing demos for third layer at the state fair. That's not out of town, but we would travel to Chicago. My stepdad drove me to Wisconsin for a contest when I was a kid. We were always traveling everywhere. But then once we got picked up by sponsors, it was we're going on a trip through the Midwest with your new skate sponsor 616, or you're going with Razors over to California, or USD sending you here. It was just a good time. And when you're a kid and all these kids are in high school and they're talking about what's cool, and you're over there I've got to just make it through the week to get my homework done and get all that stuff done so I can travel on the weekend to go try and become pro at 15, or 16. Yeah. That was the coolest feeling in the world. It's you guys got nothing going on. Oh, I got traveling baseball. It's yeah, you and a team. I'm getting put up in a hotel at 15. It was an amazing way to live, but it also kind of messed my head up because I thought, I'm so awesome, but it really messed up your ego a little bit. And I think that's something when you start getting older and wiser, you look back on it and you're like, God, what was I thinking?
Well, you're essentially pioneers, or pioneering the whole industry. And when you're out there early on and setting the stage, setting the tone, I could see how that could happen just naturally. There's not a ton of people that are out there doing it. And if, because it's not so mainstream.
Right. And then you sprinkle in some head injuries with that.
Oh man, head injuries. I mean, head injuries are just the catalyst for so many other injuries. If your brain can't process what's going on, then it just leaves your whole body susceptible to
compromise. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the first main injury that you could remember that was just notable for you?
The one that changed my whole life and my whole perspective on skating was there was a company called Box Magazine, and they were coming out to film and shoot pictures for something called the Top 16 Amateurs of the Year 2000. And I was super pumped about it, but I wasn't worried. I knew I could skate, and they brought out some really, really big dudes that I really looked up to, and we were skating in downtown Minneapolis at MCC or HCMC, not the hospital, but the college.
Yeah,
anyways,
MCTC.
Mm-hmm. There it is. I had an accident. No, but I was skating there, and they were filming and taking pictures, and I was trying to hit my heels, and then went backwards without being able to grab anything, and smacked my head on the stairs, and still got a scar on the back of my head, and kind of came to with one of my favorite pros. His name was John Elliott. He was holding my head together like that scalp, saying, "We got a bleeder." And then one of my buddies pulled up on the actual, to the base of the stairs to let me in the back and take me to the hospital. And I'll never forget that. But at the same time, it's like, damn, you're not invincible. You are immortal.
For sure.
You are immortal.
So did you treat it as, were you diagnosed as a concussion, or did anybody even say
I just remember them putting stitches in there and being like, calm down, chill out for a little while. And the next day I was skating.
That's exactly how it was for me in playing hockey. I had these just lit up, by somebody bigger than me, and I'd have a cut somewhere, a bruise somewhere, or just my total bell rocked. And there wasn't that thought process of, hey, you should probably get tested for a concussion or sit out for a period of time. It was just like, are you feeling okay now? And it's like, okay, I guess we're going to
get back out there
and do this,
Absolutely.
My, how the times have changed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Suggestions are written in stone now. They tell me, oh, you should maybe do this. Oh, I'll do it. Back then it was like, I'm good. This was just a one-off situation, and then they start happening more and more often. You start hitting your head, and you start breaking your wrists and breaking ribs. I mean, I've broken countless amounts of ribs. I've blown out discs in my back. I've obviously dealing with a knee injury now, but surprisingly, over 30 years, I never had a knee injury. Not a debilitating one that I was worried about and possibly have surgery, and watched all my friends go through it, and so I didn't even know what tendons were in the knee until I heard it recently, and now I'm over here researching it. It's the damn meniscus.
Yeah. I mean, as I've been talking about in a handful of episodes leading up to this, I've been dealing with a knee injury as well. And, today I can finally say that I feel like I'm coming around.
Good.
But it's 3 months worth of battling, trial and error, trying to figure it out, all while dealing with, life and work and... We just don't have when you're in our position and you're passionate about what you do, but you're not making big bucks doing it.
Sure.
You have to really dedicate your life outside of the priorities to make it happen. And
absolutely,
we don't have that luxury,
right?
Like the older we get.
Yeah.
So
it is weird. The opportunities are becoming, my options as far as skating. Right now my options as far as skating are: do I want to risk not being able to walk? And then. But I will any day of the week. I just got back from a 10-day tour and a competition style event where it was just a bunch of people skating really hard, like top level stuff. But, that whole time I was skating with a knee injury. In the past 14 months, I was skating with a knee injury. And it just got to the point where I finally said, look, I can't do it 100%. I just want to chill until I can. And now, I made that decision 10 days ago, and every day I'm going, I could probably do it today.
The mind, you want to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
And when you have that limitation in the form of an injury, you're feeling physical pain, but then all of a sudden your mental capacity starts to wear, just like you're experiencing right now.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So how did you hurt your knee?
I have no idea. I can think of one fall that really agitated it, but before that ever since I got back into skating, I've kind of felt like there's some issue with my knee, but I didn't know what it was, and I always hit the side of it. So when you're skating without knee pads, you're always missing tricks, and you'll just glance it right off the side of a rail. 4,000, 5,000 of those, might chip a bone off. So I went and got an x-ray, and there's either a piece of bone floating in the back of my knee, or this doctor told me this. I don't know how real this is, but he says I might have a second little baby kneecap growing in the back of my knee. What? Have you ever heard of this?
I mean, I had someone tell me that I might have like a muscle tear, a slight muscle tear from my hamstring coming into my like tibia fibula right here, and I don't know, you can't. It's tough to tell. But
yeah, that's the bone that connects it. Yeah.
It was said that my bone might be confused because of that tear, so it's adding bone on top of it.
Okay.
And my legs are visibly like right here.
Bowing
this is
out?
visibly larger than that one. So maybe it's like a type of bone spur or just some sort of way that your body is trying to counteract this injury and pain. So
I think it's just a floating bone, but this guy was telling me about how your fingers and joints can grow, like almost like kneecaps. I was like, get out of here, that's crazy.
Man, yeah, well, I don't envy your position.
Well, but what's cool is trying to figure it out finally and being the one who got to decide instead of it being like my brother broke his leg in half. And at that point, it was like, you don't get to choose if you deal with this injury now. You're laying at the bottom of a bowl and the ambulance is on the way, So I think I'm super fortunate. I think I made the right decision just by chilling for a little while. And if something really awesome pops up, I know I can still skate. So it's just a matter of being really cautious and kind of being on the the alert that I can't hyperextend my leg or who knows what'll happen. So
when it's like, imagine you have a doctor and he's like, yeah, we're going to have to operate on that.
Sure.
You'll have surgery and then you're going to have a significant period of physical rehabilitation, right?
Yeah.
So if you can use that time now where you're relatively comfortable,
Absolutely,
right? You don't feel like you need to skate, but you feel like you could skate.
I feel like I have to skate, but I have to chill.
But it's like you could use that time now to try to do those same exercises that you would be instructed to do post-surgery.
Yeah.
You can do that now to see how strong you can get your leg.
Absolutely.
But then there's that fine line of, you don't want to just do too much and like completely neglect
and
it.
Screw yourself.
Yeah, you got to be paying attention to the fact that, okay, am I getting slightly better?
Sure.
Is it maintaining the same? Is it getting worse? And if
that mindfulness is really important. And the other thing, so I heard this from this guy's awesome. He's like a professional MMA fighter. He's also a professional rollerblader. His name's Diego. Just a beast all around. I'm not even sure.
Just one name, just Diego?
Well, I don't know his last name or I can't pronounce it, but he's a really solid dude. But he told me about this bone shaman had told him to wrap his leg with lettuce and then put saran wrap around it and do that 5 nights in a row. Well, I just moved into a new house and I'm not afraid of doing anything. And if it's just lettuce, I'm sure our American lettuce sucks and doesn't have the nutrients. But at the same time, you better bet your ass I'm going to be wrapping my leg with lettuce just to try it. I'll try anything, except for drugs. But the other thing is I really want to get to the point where I've tried everything, exhausted every option. And if they say surgery, that's the last option that I do. I would really like to try everything else besides that, just like I did with my back. I went through a year of pain with that, and then when I finally decided to, it was the best decision I ever made. Which is crazy.
And we were talking about that, recently. But what you did with your back, did you get peptides for your back?
That's for my knee.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying because, like I said, I'll try anything. And a couple of really good friends of mine that I really trust that I don't do a lot of research. So I myself, I'm not going to go look up all this information, but I did do a little bit on the peptides as far as research goes. Then I had ran into, on my travels, about 15 people my age that are doing them. And I thought, okay, it's not illegal, one. It says it's a research chemical, something to be wary about. But at the same time, if these people are, and I have to add this, every one of those adult males that I talk to is physically at the top of their game, is probably in their prime physically right now. And I'm not going to, air out their names or anything like that. But I looked at all of them and I was going, what am I doing wrong? And so when I started the peptides, it started to help quite a bit. And that was before this knee thing got really debilitating, but it's also before I decided to skate 10 days in a row with a knee injury on a tour.
Damn.
Called the Chance of Pain Tour.
Yes. So I gotta toss some logs on this fire here to kind of get it stoking. But when I come back, I would like to know a little bit more about the peptides, your back injury, and just the process of how you're continuing to maintain yourself while chasing your passion. So
Absolutely.
Let's toss some logs on this.
I'm excited.
just punishing. Yeah, it's like a relentless heat. Now that we got this thing piping in the right direction, we're gonna be sweating in no time.
Absolutely, I'm already starting to.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you are too, bro.
Yes, I am a professional sweater.
That's
if
awesome.
you haven't seen that, if you haven't been able to tell in these episodes yet, I know how to sweat.
This man can perspire.
But no, yeah. So now we're back in here, getting ready for a little sweat, getting ready for a cold plunge. I wanted to resume the part where we were just kind of talking about peptides
Sure.
and how you were introduced to that and how it's been benefiting you.
Absolutely. So BP157 is BPC157 has been crucial as far as like helping with. I can tell a lot of my old injuries have been clearing up. I had a really hard time with traction in my back. I don't know, and I have like severely pulled groin muscles from years of just terrorizing them. And I've noticed since I've started that's all started to heal with mobility. One thing is peptides are great, but without momentum, I don't think they would do much. So keeping momentum, trying to be active, trying to be in the gym, I think that's all something that has to go hand in hand together, or else you're just wasting your time and your money. So
yeah, it's not just something that you can just take and then let the good times roll.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You gotta. It's a tool to help facilitate moving properly and then generating muscle mass.
Absolutely,
right?
and blood flow and all that stuff. And the muscle mass stuff has been great. It's just small gains is all I wanted to have. I don't want to be some jacked guy trying to skate, because then it's all arms and you just kind of look. I feel like you look ridiculous. But I've noticed that. I mean, even just the energy levels I have increased because I'm more conscious and more mindful about my fitness. So I've been focusing a lot on that lately. And it's helped a ton.
Nice.
It's helped a ton.
So how do the peptides like work for your body?
I have no idea. I didn't want. That's the only reason why I didn't want to talk about it, because it's like I have no idea what's going on internally. I just know that the people that I've talked to, I trust their opinions on it. I didn't jump into it right away at first, all gung ho. I actually, just like the medical marijuana thing, when people suggested it, I had 5 years of recovery, and I mean. Yes, I was kind of white knuckling my recovery, trying to help others while I'm going through a lot of stuff myself. And if anybody's ever tried to get sober off of something that was either life-threatening or causing them a ton of pain in their life, period, just all around, it's a really hard process. You have to completely change the way you think. You have to change the way you deal with life. You have to change every aspect of your life, the people you hang out with. But when I got into medical cannabis, after 5 years of stone cold recovery, my primary care physician, my therapist, my spine doctor for my back surgery, all of them were telling me, it's not, it doesn't have to be all black or white. You don't have to be completely sober. If this is, would you, because I told them, how am I going to talk to my recovery community about how I decided to just start smoking weed? And he goes, dude, if you decided to switch from Prozac to a different drug, for your mental health, would you go tell your recovery community? And I just looked at him like, God damn, that's a really good perspective, And I did bring it up to my recovery community because I wanted to know their feedback on it. And just like anybody's program, everybody has a different view on it. And that's what I realized is it's my recovery, and I get to do this as long as I'm okay with myself. Then that makes a huge difference, because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm trying to work towards a better me, whatever that looks like. Yeah. And it's been really instrumental as far as medical cannabis has gone. I can tell you how that works. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and it's funny because, we do all these things for our health, and I can't speak professionally on that. I don't know the ins and outs and all of the inner workings of why something works.
Sure.
I just know from my personal experience what works and what doesn't.
Dude.
And being able to pay attention to your body is like allows you to understand that.
Yeah.
And with cannabis, for me, that made me more in tune with
Absolutely.
my body.
100,000%. The fact you said that alone means I'm not the only person that experienced that immediately, and I hate to say this, but when I was going through my recovery stuff and still trying to be physically active, there was a lot of mental stress going on with that, because it hurts to get down and stretch. It hurts to try and focus, and holding a stretch for a little while, you're like, get rid of that. That feels awful.
Yeah.
When I use cannabis and then I try and focus on relaxing, breathing, and then paying attention to what my muscles are saying to my brain, it's a whole different world. And I don't want to sound like a hippie, but at the same time, there's tons of studies that show the medicinal use of marijuana has helped tons of people. And, I want to just say this too, like for people who say, that's just a cop out or anything like that. I have a friend who has seizures, and marijuana is a medical drug, or a medical miracle for this guy. I mean, he's able to experience life without all these crazy seizures all the time. And yes, they still happen, but they don't happen as frequent, and they're not as bad, I don't think, but he knows who he is. And shout out to that guy, because he's one of the best guys in the world. Hawk Trackler.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to be on the side of dispelling those negative cannabis beliefs that a lot of people carry. And what better way to like be, a good role model with that than to be physically active as well. Weed has always been a tool for me to focus, relax, and improve myself.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to working out, I am more in tune with that process if I have, smoked cannabis before,
And the other thing too is just keeping a mindful, positive relationship with it, because obviously as an addict, I know that it can go from 0 to 100 real quick with whatever it is that I'm using or doing or exercising. I can turn anything into a drug of choice, damn near. Even look at rollerblading. Doctors say I probably shouldn't do it, and I guarantee you, if something tomorrow was to go down and I could get there, I'd bring my skates and I would risk the rest of my life, because that's what it's about. But at the same time, longevity and looking at everything through a bigger picture now that I'm older, medical cannabis, as long as it's in right relationship, I think has done huge. I mean, you could look at just my Instagram and see when I started it. I mean, just my skating has gotten even better because I'm more physically in tune with my body, just like you said. Yeah. So it's instrumental.
Yeah. And it just has that camaraderie aspect of it as well. When you're with the group, you're in there together. You want to reward your body. You don't want to put alcohol in. You want to put bad things into it. So it's a way to just connect with a medicinal property that also happens to be communal. And
that is true.
That's what I really enjoy about it.
Absolutely. Can we address these hats real quick?
Yes, absolutely. We've got Sir Mike the Viking over here. No, these are sauna hats, and similar to how you describe peptides, you don't know exactly what they do, you just know they work. That's kind of how these sauna hats are.
Better than tinfoil hats.
Yeah. But I know that they're protecting our hair a little bit, because our the heat rises. And our top of our head is at the top right here, so it's getting pounded with some heat.
Yeah, it feels like it.
But then it also, I want to say, it retains heat. It prevents you from overheating in a sense. So it creates like a barrier so that it's just not relentless heat sitting on top.
Do we jump in the lake with these on?
Oh, we're gonna jump in the lake with these things on.
With these on?
Yeah. You might summon a Viking.
Some real Viking shit.
That's gonna come through here as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I'm scared. I'm petrified, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. Jumping in this thing. I mean, we're sweating our asses off, but that's still cold as hell.
I'm excited to introduce this to you as a form of pain management.
Well, get ready for me hitting you up every couple of days.
Beautiful. Right, so as far as what you're using for pain management, it's you're using cannabis.
Yep. Trying the
peptides and moving your body.
Momentum is everything, and that's with anything in life. I found out is that something you don't want to do, or something you're not good at, a little bit of momentum goes a long way, because once you start that momentum, you start to build confidence. You start to build, just progress, period. And that's the same thing with starting your morning with moving, laying out a yoga mat, doing what your body feels like doing, hearing a couple of good cracks, and getting up and being like, it's like what Jordan Peterson said about waking up and making your bed or cleaning your room or whatever. Those kind of things start causing positive pathways in your brain. So throughout the day now, I'm making better decisions about what I eat. I started eating only one meal a day for a while. I lost a ton of weight. I wasn't unhealthily overweight or anything like that, but my knees were taking a beating because of the 200 plus pounds I was at. And I started, my goal was to get down to what I was in high school, which was like 185 pounds. I'm at like 183 pounds, and I got a lot more muscle than I did in high school. So I feel really good,
That's
so
awesome.
All those things together have helped. And I eat, sleep, and breathe rollerblading. So I'm watching it constantly. I'm thinking about it always. And when I'm not working or being with my kids, I'm trying to skate all the time. And, up until recently, that's been kind of the recipe for at least my health,
Yeah. That's fantastic. Have you done any sort of breath work or meditating while you're...
My ADHD is so strong that, that whole like standing outside of your thoughts and letting them pass and all that kind of stuff is really hard for me to do. I should probably take some classes on how to meditate. A lot of breathing work. I get cut off in traffic, and instead of cussing the person out that can't hear you. I just start trying to breathe, and it's tough, but I still have my days, where you got to catch the bird from me if you cut me off. But at the same time, it's a work in progress.
Right on, man. No, that's awesome. It's so interesting to see how other people are just managing themselves, right? Because we don't have a ton of money to just throw out there.
Sure.
We don't have a ton of time to throw out there. So you lean on your trusted resources.
Absolutely.
And people that are doing well in the community that you're involved in.
Yeah.
So, I think it's great that there's, fellow role models in the rollerblading world that you can look at and emulate all 30 years after since you began. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, what's nuts is watching the ways everybody went. So there's people that were really good at skating, and there's people that were really, just pillars of the community in rollerblading, and watching where they've gone over 30 years and how they've developed, watching them grow families, still have that love for skating.
Yeah.
I think there's something to rollerblading about kind of encapsulating your health and kind of preserving you, because if you look at a lot of rollerbladers' faces, they don't look old, you know what I mean? And
they look happy.
Yeah, they look happy as hell. I got a buddy named Blake O'Brien. This guy, he has not changed a bit over the last 20 years. I mean, his face is still youthful and exuberant, and I'm telling you, there has to be rollerblading, or Minnesota rollerblading.
For sure. But even like the guy, the inventor of the rollerblade, Scotty Olson, that guy is just a legend of physical ability.
Absolutely. Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to Scotty Olson. Yeah, I should splice in the video that we created with him to help promote.
Oh, you did one?
Oh my God, it was
That's
the
amazing.
best.
Yeah,
we had Scotty out here.
I'd like to shake that man's hand.
He's
if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be doing what I do in these days.
He's a beautiful source of inspiration for
That's
me.
amazing.
The guy's in his 60s.
Really?
And he lives in Waconia, and he will bike downtown and then bike back to
Get outta
Waconia,
here.
and then he'll run over the brewery and
What?
then run back, and then
That's amazing.
It's just he's just everything that exemplifies what rollerblading is.
Sure.
And I feel so grateful that
Absolutely.
we can call ourselves the home of rollerblading.
Absolutely.
It's a
You
global
can't say
sport.
that if you're not from here. You can't say that.
Yeah, it's a global sport that started
Right here. That's amazing.
If you want to see some of this in action, you should stay tuned to the Bladerade Skate Jam that'll happen in mid-July.
Absolutely.
We'll get to that later, but what we should get to
Oh no.
is this cold plunge.
Dun dun dun. All right.
Are you ready for it?
Let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, you can feel that wind. And the 25 mile per hour, 50 mile per hour gust is feeling real nice. I can't see anything, it's so bright out with all that snow. He's still sweating. Set my feet up for success. Aim it the other direction. As you can see, our hole is looking pretty sloppy Joe. Oh my gosh, a little nice layer of slush or whatever we want to call this. You ready for this? All right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nope. Oh yeah. No way. Yeah, baby. It's cold today. The wind, the little extra layer of slush. We got a first timer in here. Yeah. You gotta be kidding me. Yes. I like to get the neck in there the little Neo from the Matrix, the little spot in the back there. One might take a glance and think that we're in a hot tub with bubbles here, a little foam, but no, this is not foam. We got slushy ice all up in this, and it is nice.
That's it for me.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Mike.
That's it. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Holy.
Oh my God.
All right.
That's insane.
That was a good one. Can't wait to go and sweat.
Yeah. So, Mike, how did you feel about your first plunge right there?
I'll tell you what, I was like I told him, man, I was paralyzed with fear on the walk over there because it just started getting cold halfway on the dock. And when I saw Josh go in, I was going, I'm totally screwed, man. He's got a smile on his face. He's good. The sun's shining. I get in there, and, dude, I felt like the bad guy in Batman, dude. Frozen, dude. Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was crazy.
But how does your knee feel
Dude,
out of that?
What the... I mean... Right now, it's really limber compared to the way it was before.
It's like an instant remedy.
Yeah.
It's taking the inflammation that's stuck in your body and just the stuff that's not moving through with proper flow and just
flushes it
out,
yeah.
You know?
Maybe that's what it was. When I got in there, I was like, something's not right.
That's why I've learned to become a professional sweater, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sitting in here, I don't want to spend too much time. I want to just try to start sweating.
Oh, you're effectively sweating.
The old joke with me is that I'm always just one swift move from completely breaking out in sweat, but, you know, so now I've made it it's my gig now.
How often do you do that?
I like to do, if I could, I would do it 4 to 5 days a week.
Wow.
But it really settles in around like the 2 to 3.
Sure,
with,
that's
with
still
where my
phenomenal,
schedule's at.
though. I don't know how you do that.
Oh, it feels great. It's so good for the body and the mind, and it also does offer up a communal aspect because I love getting to share that experience.
That's amazing. And for anybody out there who doesn't know what we just did, we just went into this polar plunge. I just want you to know how much of a Minnesota mountain man this guy is because he went in there and just... like it was nothing. Like it was a bathtub, you know?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I turned into a freaking icicle, dude. That was insane.
Well, you get better and better. It's those little things. The more you do it, the more you'll get better. Right?
Cool. We had to start somewhere, right?
I love it. Well, dude, Mike, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today. It's been a blast chatting with you and just learning from another regular, passionate sportsman over here.
Absolutely.
On just how to take care of yourself, you know? It's asking around friends. It's utilizing your resources. It's trial and error. It's not just take the first doctor that tells you need surgery and do that, right?
Yep.
You're exploring all avenues.
Absolutely. Never give up.
Never give up, man. Never give up.
Absolutely. This has been a great opportunity, and I just want to say to you, I'll never forget this.
Yes.
It was a nightmare, but it was great.
Music to my ear, sweat to my ears. You know what I'm saying, right? Well, hey, follow Mike French on Instagram. Look him up on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Is there any other platforms out there where you can follow your content?
YouTube, but it's never really anything special. But if you ever want to, you know, I'm a TikTok rollerblader too, so I'm on there as well. Just who is Mike French on all platforms except for Facebook. That's just French Michael.
Cool.
So.
Well, yeah, we'll get that all that information available on the show over here. So check him out. Grab a pair of rollerblades. Summer's right around the corner, and those wheels are calling your name.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, until next time, thank you for being a part of today's episode of Get Sweaty with Letty. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Amazing.